Balance, earth, healing, happiness, connection, friendship, energy, warmth, calmness, just taking some time off for yourself, water, blue sky, fun, just fun. Jacquie Comrie is a female artist who just wants to spread color everywhere. I'm just someone who just wants to talk about mental health and just spread color and make people feel better through color. It's about uplifting the mind and the soul through color. Color it's a science and a language of human emotion. And so it's not, for me, it's not slapping color on the wall or on a canvas or any kind of surface. It's not about that. It's about exploring emotion, human emotion, and speaking this language that we have. It's speaking to people's struggles through color palettes, and just exploring that color palette and trying to speak and elevate as we use this beautiful language that we have. I wanted to be an artist since I was a kid, since I could remember. I've always been surrounded by color since I was really young. And growing up in Panama, it is part of your environment, and color was just, as soon as you walk out the door, that's the first thing you see. Anytime there's carnival, any kind of celebration or tradition, it's always color is always involved. It's just celebrating life. That's what it's all about. Gray is probably my least favorite color, and it's actually pretty triggering for me. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel good at all. I moved to Canada and I didn't know how to speak English, and it was a really tough transition from living in Panama and immigrating to Canada. I arrived on January 21st, 2001, and it was the middle of winter, and it was gray. Visually, it was such a contrast from the environment that I was in, of this sunny, colorful place, to this like gray, dead environment. That visual shock was just like, it was so hard for me to adapt. It just affected me emotionally, and I for the first year, I spent my year angry at my dad, and angry that I was forced to be in this gray place. And so when you ask, why do you not like gray? This is the type of memory that comes back to me. Winter and just this depressed feeling that I had back then. Yeah, it wasn't easy, but most immigrants can relate. It's not easy moving to another country, for sure, yeah. But art helped me a lot. Since I didn't know how to speak English, I just painted and I did art, and that helped me adapt to my environment. I kept pushing and trying to do projects, but people weren't really giving me the opportunity to do my work. And I had a lot of pushback when it came to colorful work. People saying that it was way too colorful, that it was too much in your face. Why is that bad? Why can't it just be? I tried to kind of tone it down, and just so I could get projects initially, and I was going to quit altogether. And I remember coming across Art Stars, and I remember putting in an application for a microgrant. From that microgrant, it was just like everything just kind of took off from there. No, I can never tone this down ever. The more amount of color that I can put on a wall, the better. I use a massive stick. I attach a brush at the end, and that's my brush. So I just I go up, I make a line, I cross the street, and I come back. Okay, that looks right. And then I come back, I make another line, I cross the street again. You have to go as far as possible in order to see what you're making, right? You can never see something being close to a wall, of course. I use a combination of spray paint and house paint, outdoor exterior acrylics. It's all about, getting up on a skyjack, on a lift. That first feeling of I'm about to go really, really high up. And again, it's all about meditating and getting that fear out of the way. Because if you're scared, it impedes your performance, of course. So you just have to use that fear and make it your friend. Creating is vulnerable. When you make something, it's the most vulnerable you can be. Because you're like, what if this doesn't work out? And what if my technique doesn't look right? But yeah, it's just about trusting myself and just putting stuff out and hoping that it will go well and knowing that it will go well, actually. I'm always thinking this is exactly where I need to be. So I just keep going, until I end, and it's just the feeling of empowerment that I have at the end, yes, I conquered this, I made this. It's just I need to go again. I need to do this again. I go around the city looking for spaces that need to be revitalized. So once I see a space that is gray and dull, I ask for permission and I propose for a project or a transformation of the space. And then from there, it's all about getting communities involved. My most important question is, how do you want to feel when you walk into the space? And based on that emotion, that's how the palettes are orchestrated and created. So if somebody says, I want to feel calm, and that's where, turquoises and blues and greens and all these cooler, calmer palettes are used. Or if they say that I want to feel energy, I want to feel uplifted, that's where all the warms and pinks and all these fun colors start to kind of play out. So it's all about purposely finding and creating emotions through different colors. It was all about bringing here to Canada what I had seen, what my experience of living in Panama. It was really emotional. The queen is battling her own feelings. Sadness, depression, anger. This woman, this queen, has so many feelings, and she's initially so ashamed and she's tormented by them. She can't deal with herself, and then at the end it's just kind of being okay with who she is and just her own feelings. No matter either positive or negative, she accepts and honors them at the end. It's all about continuing a conversation of mental health. I feel like we're really afraid of our own emotions, and we're not only afraid, but ashamed of how we feel. And even for me, I've been, struggling with my mental health and my emotional health. I didn't want to talk about how I was feeling, but then it got to a point where I could not even wake up, and I did not want to even wake up at one point. Like I was struggling. Color has really helped me accept my own feelings too. Through that project, I wanted to be like, hey, it's okay to feel, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to talk about it. There's no shame in your feelings. That healing starts when you are vulnerable. Turquoise, the most healing color of the spectrum. It has a specific frequency that when you look at it, it calms you, but it uplifts you at the same time. So if I could be a color, I will be turquoise for sure. We have to find ways to take care of each other. The public realm and public art is like, it's the most effective way to make an impact for everybody. So everybody gets to see and to experience that. I wanted to focus on hospitals and galleries initially, but I'm like, no, I want to reach a larger demographic. Like, how can I make an impact, a larger social impact with my work? And public art was it for me. When you purposely inject color into a space, it's creating an experience for the person, for people that walk into that space. When we rehabilitate spaces, it's something that improves brain function, emotional health, mental health. I think there's so many benefits to color. It's creating colorful spaces in this city that weren't really there before. Creating spaces for people to walk in and feel good. During rush hour, people stop right in front of this wall and they're stuck in their cars, bumper to bumper traffic at times, and then now they turn and they see this like massive wall that's like full of color. When people write back to say, hey, I live in this community, and you transform something that was ugly and now you transform it into a colorful space, you made my experience in my community better. When I hear that, that's like, it feels like amazing. When we can change our environment and we can walk into a positive space and visually positive space, I think that will improve the way that we see the world.